Hola. I haven't shaved in a few days. Don't be alarmed by the frightening facial hair pattern trying to grow a beard. Not working. Angels and Airwaves are back. They've released Love Part 2 by accident. Leaked. I managed to hear the album completely, front to back. But yeah. The record sounds fresh. It sounds fun. It's got like a bunch of different new things that they haven't tried before. Right now, thinking about the record, I can't really recall any mention of stars. I'm sure there must be somewhere on the record, but it was refreshing to not hear so much star talk and about looking at the stars and reaching for the stars. That I was happy with too. I was trying to get to my starry limit. I was just, alright, that's enough. I get it, stars are nice. For those of you who didn't already hear the songs from the leak a few days ago, as far as their basic sound goes, they haven't changed at all really. It's just little things that this time around they tried out and they put into their music. One thing that stands out a lot is there's piano in this record. I don't know if they've probably had piano in the other records, but this one it stood out a lot more. They put piano on My Heroine and All That We Are. Those two songs, it's one of the main things in the melody. The parts of the album stand out to me most. The album kicks off with the coolest intro I've ever heard from Angels and Airwaves. Sounds like it could be from a Christopher Nolan movie. It's very Dark Knight at first, orchestral stuff going, and then it goes into a really energetic start. Like Angels and Airwaves definitely knows how to pick their opening tracks. It has that same feeling that Call to Arms gives you. Not that the songs sound the same, but it gives you that same feeling, that same like inspired, like I can do anything. That feeling just kicks you off with that. Saturday Love! See, Surrender. I think it's a great track. It has a part of it that will remind you of some Origins of Fire that will also remind you of The Adventure. More on that later in the video. Anxiety. It's the single that they decided to release, so the song is going to be one of the best songs on the record, and it really is. It's cool. It's very cool. I like what they did with it. When I heard it, it gave me that little glimmer of hope that you know, this record might not be a bad thing. And it wasn't. I'm going to have a lot of fun driving to this album. The lyrics, I'm a passenger. You can take that to mean that he's talking about people writing out anxiety attacks, or you can take it to mean this kind of like Buddhist Hindu thing where we're all just passengers in the flow of life, and life flows on within you and without you. The song that immediately follows Anxiety is My Heroine. Cool song. Why? Piano. I was pleasantly surprised to hear the piano. It basically follows the same melody as the chorus of Anxiety. The Revelator. The Revelator is one song that had a new sound that I hadn't heard before from them. A new type of synth, and it was really, really cool to hear. This record was basically my surprise record. It's what kept happening. I kept getting surprised by little things, and that's what made it so good. The last lyrics in the song are something like, where are we going? Come on over. No one's dying. We're fine. The last lyrics on this song to a lot of people are going to come off as insanely cheesy, but they got me. I don't know why. Those last 4 lyrics are just like, take your time. I don't know. It got me. Inertia. Inertia is one song that also jumped out because it actually sounds spooky. It has some spooky notes in there, which is cool. It gives it a different feel. It gives like a little break from the constantly inspiring and uplifting stuff from the rest of the album. It's a slight change. Something different. Thank you. Behold a Pale Horse sounded like a possibly 80s Journey song. Very, very classic rock station song. Song that could have been in Rocky while he's just doing his thing. Bum, 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 bum. This record definitely has my favorite ending to any Angels and Airwaves record. The end of All That We Are, it's the same way that if you see like a good-looking person and you find out that they're intelligent too, it just gives them like 3,000 more points of awesomeness. That's what happened with this song. Because you hear the song, like, okay, and then the ending comes, you're just like, that was a magical song. It almost sounds more like a, dare I say it, normal guitar solo at the end. It's a more fluid guitar lead that you don't usually hear in their music. I'd really like to know who played that. It's very smooth. Nice, huge way of ending it. I think a perfect ending to this record. It definitely made that song memorable. Here's my thing with Angels and Airwaves. Here's my general fear, worry thing with Angels and Airwaves. Is that when I hear their music, I don't know when this started happening, but I began looking for their songs in their newer songs. And then it's become a mental habit. I don't know if this has been happening to a lot of you guys or not, but to me it's something that's slightly annoying that's been going on. Examples of that are like in Surrender, that it reminds you of Origins of Fire, blah, 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 Adventure. This might bother some fans, but this is the reason why I think that Dry Your Eyes is kind of a song on the album. I heard too many other things in this song that made me, I guess, not really be able to get into it. A lot of people have heard a bit of Blink's Violence in Dry Your Eyes. Some people said they heard a little bit of Down in it as well. Really, I don't know, I didn't catch that, but the main thing that I focused on while hearing Dry Your Eyes is that it sounded a lot like Everything's Magic. And that made me think of how in part 1 of Love, I already thought that Epic Holiday sounded a bit like Everything's Magic. But the melody in Dry Your Eyes, it's so similar. That's what's leading me to worry about Angels and Airwaves. When their first record came out, I thought We Don't Need to Whisper was great. I thought half of I Empire was great, and then Love came out. And when Love came out, I've kind of had a mini freak out. I enjoyed the album and I think it sounds nice. The thing with the album is that I ended up at the end of it thinking like, I'm pretty sure Angels and Airwaves are done. It just had this feeling to me like they had exhausted their options and pretty much like emptied their bag of tricks is what it sounded like. It could just be my experience on the record and maybe everybody else loved it, but I felt like the album wasn't as captivating as the other 2 albums. I think Tom said that that album was a lot more about creating like a sonic landscape, but in the end it just felt strange to me. I thought that could have easily been their last record. And this record that I like a lot still hasn't diminished my fear just because of the following things that I'm thinking about. Most bands crank out whatever they feel like, and it just so happens that they have a certain sound for a period of time and they change it. That's just usually how most bands go and are able to go. But with Angels and Airwaves, they're a very specific band. They have a specific look, a specific theme, a specific sound, a specific message. They are about positivity, seeing the good in life. They're about realizing that, like, that we may be screwed right now, but that we can get out of it through love and happiness. And for the last 4 records, it's become very clear that the Angels and Airwaves is very much fixed in that. And all those things don't really allow much room for growth and change. It's one thing if you're a band who's starting and you don't really have anything specific to say, you're just saying what you feel all the time, and that can go through endless changes. Being what Angels and Airwaves particularly is, having such a fixed message has so many limits, and it puts a cap on where they can go. And Tom keeps talking about how they're getting more and more experimental, but they can't really. For one, Tom DeLonge is a very catchy songwriter. For a band to get really experimental, they gotta kind of not worry about being catchy anymore and just kind of see what happens. I'm not really sure that Tom will want to do that, to go that route of like being really, truly experimental and risking it sounding like some strange ass thing that people won't immediately get hooked to. So that's what has my worry, is that eventually, for many different reasons, they can hit a brick wall and that'll be the end. Right now, I don't feel like they have that many records left in them. Maybe 2 tops is what I think. I hope not. And I mean, at the same time, that's how I've been feeling about a lot of bands lately, so that might just be a really negative feeling I have towards all bands in the world. But and there's a lot to look into with this particular band. Angels and Airwaves is Tom DeLonge's spiritual outlet. It's his beam of light for the world. Because it's so spiritually oriented and it has that big, giant message behind it, it makes me think a lot into everything that they do. Even how so many of their songs can sound like they bleed into each other, or like they use parts of other songs almost blatantly in newer songs. It makes me wonder if that's all somehow like part of the message, like, you know, because a big idea in a lot of world religions is that we are all one, that everything is part of everything else, that we're all just part of this giant, you know, pool of life. We're all one. I don't know if I'm giving too much credit with that. If I'm not, I don't know. Like, it makes me wonder if Tom DeLonge is just there thinking, crap, all our songs sound the same. Well, you know, this is what we were going for, because we're all one. See, I'm just trying to show you that through my music is really all I was trying to do. Everything is one, just like all of our songs are one. Whatever. Either way, long story short, how they opened it and how they closed the record, it just caught me off guard. Again, that's what I like. They did try a few things that I did not see coming and that I thought they probably would not do. My overall feeling of the album, Love Part 2 kicks Part 1's ass. I kind of wish Part 1 didn't exist. I wish it was just Hallucinations, Young London, and Flight of the Apollo, and the intro to Letters to God Part 2, and they could have just been in this record instead, because it's just so much better in every way. I got some hope injected back into me with this album, and I don't know. Let's see what else comes out of Angels and Airwaves. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a great record. Tell me what you think. Let me know. Do you hate it? Do you like it? Do you semi-like it but not really? If you got it, I want to hear it. So lay it on me. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Those are my thoughts on Angels and Airwaves Love Part 2. Hasta la bye-bye.